This just took a shocking turn, as in the surprise move of the offseason, the Milwaukee Bucks have released Damian Lillard, and now the Rockets have been named as the top suitor when it comes to signing the guard, even with his Achilles tear. Welcome into Rockets Digest. I'm Jace Andrews. I appreciate each and every single one of you joining us. Damian Lillard is a free agent and can be signed by any team on the open market, and the Houston Rockets are the perfect destination for him. Now, we'll give you all the reports and the latest in just a moment, but the San Antonio Spurs were also listed as a top destination for Mr. Lillard. And I got a call from Spurs Digest, and they were saying, not only are you not going to get Damian Lillard this offseason, you're also not going to reach 3,500 subscribers by the end of the week. And I said, man, put up or shut up. H-Town has got my back, and we're going to reach 3,500 subscribers by Friday. Now, I need H-Town here to get my back and help me out. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Let's step up to Spurs Digest Challenge. Damian Lillard is a free agent, and the Milwaukee Bucks are stretching his $113 million contract over the next 5 seasons, doing all of this in order to acquire Miles Turner as they signed him away from the Indianapolis Pacers. Now, Lillard has had 2 seasons in Milwaukee and now will come to an end as he really rehabilitates his torn Achilles tendon as a free agent. Couple things to note there. The Milwaukee Bucks are stretching out his $113 million salary. What does that exactly mean? Well, it means this. The Bucks will owe Damian Lillard $22 million a year over that for the next 5 seasons. This will all count towards the cap space for the Milwaukee Bucks as well. Now, as a Bucks fan, you're probably thinking, what the hell was that for then? As a Rockets fan, I'm thinking, okay, Damian Lillard is getting paid $22 million to play basketball for a team that he's not going to play for. So in that case, the Rockets could come in and sign him for dirt cheap. Now, of course, a lot of teams across the league have had this similar thought, and that's exactly why we got the report that, well, there's a lot of teams calling. But he also has that Achilles tendon tear, right? What exactly does that look like? Well, that was also included in a report. This from Mark J. Spears saying, Damian Lillard could return before the playoffs start next season. That's huge right there. And, quote, there's a double-digit number of teams calling, trying to sign him. Now, of course, as you would expect, the Houston Rockets are a part of those teams calling and trying to get Damian Lillard. But they're not just one of those teams. They are the team. The Rockets have been named among the top Damian Lillard suitors to land him and potentially bring him back for a championship run at the end of the 2025-2026 season with Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Tari Eason, Dorian Finney-Smith, Alperen Şengün, and the list goes on. Lillard would be such a perfect asset, especially coming in later on in the season. This was Lillard this past season before tearing his Achilles. 24.9 average points per game, 4.7 rebounds per game, 7.1 assists. He's 6'2", turning 35 soon. His field goal percentage is awesome. His three-point percentage is fantastic as well. And we all know what Damian Lillard can do. I don't have to sit here and tell you about the basketball player of Damian Lillard. I can sit here and tell you why the Rockets have been named the top suitor to land him by Bleacher Report. Here is the quote from the article. Adam Wells of Bleacher Report saying, quote, the Rockets have already nailed the offseason by agreeing to acquire Durant in a trade with the Phoenix Suns, then using the first day of free agency to add Dorian Finney-Smith and Clint Capella. Even with those moves, they still have some flexibility since they are $1.4 million below the first apron, end quote. So $1.4 million is not a lot, but it's enough that you could maybe financially flex stuff around. Plus, veteran minimum deals are exempt. So in that case, you could sign Damian Lillard, and there's a potential for that to be exempt from the first apron, / you could also, move around some money. Like that's not that hard to do. How likely is this? Well, it's probably a little more likely than you would think. Now, the most important thing to Damian Lillard is winning a title. And that is very prevalent in the report from Bleacher Report saying, quote, as Lillard enters this final phase of his career, it's safe to assume that pursuing a championship will be his main priority. There aren't many landing spots that could offer him a better chance to do that next season than the Rockets, end quote. Now, do the Rockets sign him to a 2-year deal? Do the Rockets try and sign him to just this year and get him back for the playoffs? What would be the play? I don't know, but I know that Rafael Stone has absolutely nailed this offseason already. And listen, the guard position for the Houston Rockets is something that would be a very helpful thing to add Damian Lillard to. Don't get me wrong, I love Reed Sheppard and I love Aaron Holiday. I think they are both great. In fact, I think Reed Sheppard is going to have a major step forward this season. But I don't want to rely on Aaron Holiday to be my backup point guard. And Amen Thompson, who they want to become a point guard, as a shooting guard on the depth chart. He's 6'7". Like he is going to move the ball. He's good at it, but he's also a forward type body and positional alignment. That being said, I've talked so many times on this channel, the Rockets need to get a guard. When they signed Clint Capella and Dorian Finney-Smith, I thought, okay, they're going to trade one of those guys for a guard. When I was looking at the NBA free agency market, I was thinking, okay, they're going to sign a guard. When they got back Kevin Durant, and when they re-signed Fred VanVleet, I think, okay, they're going to get somebody to help be a depth piece in that guard. And yet, that hasn't happened. Well, maybe Damian Lillard just fell into Rafael Stone's lap. Another quote here from Adam Wells' Bleacher Report article saying, quote, VanVleet ensures the Rockets don't need a starting caliber point guard in a playoff setting. Head coach Ime Udoka can put Lillard out there for 8 to 10 minutes and let him find open shots on the floor when opposing defenses focus their attention on Durant. Now, if Lillard is able to return for the playoffs next season, which is the report, this might be the best possible situation as he could find for himself as he pursues a title, end quote. So, Damian Lillard potentially joining the Houston Rockets on a cheap deal and then basically forget NBA trade deadline. Forget the Rockets needing to sign more players. You have a secret weapon sitting in your back pocket for when the playoffs come around. Now, Achilles tendons are a horrible injury to come back from. There is no guarantee that he'll be back for the playoffs. So, will these teams actually pursue him heavily to sign him this season? That's where the question mark is. But if you can get him for cheap, here's my quote. Why the heck not would you sign Damian Lillard? Why the heck not? Go sign him. If you can get him for cheap, why not? And that's where I open up the discussion to every single one of you. Would you sign Damian Lillard? Y for yes, in for no in the comment section. Is this somebody that you think would be helpful to the Houston Rockets? I mean, we obviously know it's going to be helpful. Is this something you would do? For a cheap contract, for a guy who's getting already paid this season, I think it makes sense. I go back to my answer. Why the heck not? Why not? What are you losing by signing him to a cheap deal? What are you losing? There's nothing you're going to lose for signing him to a deal. He's been excellent over his entire career. 24.9 points per game in 2024-2025, and it's been 24 plus pretty much every single season besides his first couple years in the league. He averaged 32 in his last year with Portland. That's why he got such a big contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. This is a guy who has just fell into your lap. And I say again, the man, the myth, the legend of Rafael Stone this offseason would be absolutely set in stone if he pulls this off. And if Damian Lillard wants a title, yeah, he could go to the Oklahoma City Thunder. It'd be great. Had him there. Or you could come to the Houston Rockets, who arguably maybe have a better chance than the Oklahoma City Thunder in this upcoming season. It's a question to be had, and Damian Lillard has lots of options out there. We know that there are a multitude of teams that would love to have him on their roster. But the Rockets pose an interesting thing for him that I don't think any other team across the league can do. And so for that reason, Damian Lillard, sign here. We'll keep you covered. We'll get you a nice ring. You can play with KD. You're not going to have a full-on huge role when you come back right away. You can come play with us for this year. If you sign a 2-year deal, Fred VanVleet, there's a player option next year. You could be a point guard. This is a positive thing. This is a positive thing, and I would absolutely love to see it happen. Guards are something that, again, would love to add into this team. Aaron Holiday, Reed Sheppard, love them, respect them. Reed Sheppard's going to be great. He's just young. Aaron Holiday's a depth player. That's what he is. Rafael Stone. If you do this, I would love you forever. And with that, I leave you out there. Once again, get in the comment section. Would you sign him? Y for yes, N for no. I would definitely sign him, but obviously there's differentiating opinions out there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section, and we'll keep you updated on everything that has to do with Houston Rockets news. But for now, we'll see you next time here on Rockets Digest. Peace out, guys.